That's a pretty good idea. All right, well, so we're finishing up then. Carlos, I think we're just about had enough with him. If you were going to talk about that in an exam, obviously, you want to master some of the religious ideas of, put out something. You have to either write something, say something, something positive from you. And nothing is passive knowledge. So these tests are really pretty silly, the ones that are being marked. And the only reason people do them is because they're lazy. They just don't want to read them. And one of the reasons, again, I'm walking here while people come in, but one of the reasons people can't read and write well is because teachers along the line, and I don't blame them, they have a huge load. I'm not complaining about teachers. I would hate to do what teachers in secondary schools, grammar schools, middle schools have to do. The number of classes that they teach, the number of papers they have to mark. It's really grueling work, and they don't get paid anywhere near the effort that they put in. So I'm not complaining about what they do. However, the reason people really don't read and write well is that nobody is looking at their work. Nobody is telling them this sentence isn't any good. You've expressed yourself in a clumsy way here. You're using the wrong word here. Your grammar is poor here. You don't know how to construct the English language here. Nobody's taking that time. You know why no one's taking time? It takes huge effort for someone marking a paper to make all those comments on 30 papers in 6 different class levels every week or two. I mean, that person would be going mad. So that's one of the big problems. So that's why they give you multiple choice. And that's why they continue in university to give you these kinds of things in these big classes. But we have Noelle, and fortunately she's willing to, go through them. You say, why don't you do it? Well, if I did it, I'd probably have gone mad a long time ago, even though I'm already half mad. So I do it on the smaller classes. But she does it for this one. She's pretty well compensated, so you don't have to feel sorry for her. She's not being taken advantage of, I can assure you. I don't know if it's sufficient to teach a person to write. It takes a lot of time. Anyway, so the exams will be a few essays because we feel that's the best way to do things. And there is no right answer. So you say, well, what should I? You just study the best thing you think you can express yourself on and then put it on the paper. And if it's impressive in any way, it'll impress the reader, just like it impresses you. That's the way to do an essay. There may be a few right answers, but basically you're just putting some ideas down that you have. So the more interesting and colorful and forceful the ideas that you have, the better impression it makes on the reader. Put yourself in the reader's position. Suppose you were reading 100 tests. How would you mark it? So you're going to mark the ones that make an impression on you highest, and the ones that have fewest sloppy errors. So if you get a paper and it's like first illegible, second unreadable, third incomprehensible, well obviously you're not going to give that the highest grade, even though the person who wrote it may be a genius. You say, well, I knew all the stuff, I just couldn't express it. Well, okay, there is the problem. You can know all kinds of things, but if you can't get it out, you're going to be a little bit down the ladder and so on. So the answer to what you should do, get your ideas together, see how you're going to express them, feel that you've got something to say on these subjects and get it in your mind and come in here and be able to write about it in an hour or so here. That's the best way. The short answers are 5 or 6 things, just knock them off the top of your head. I already know them before you go, even no sense running around looking for them. And just so people think that, they don't have to, that they don't worry about forgetting anything, you can bring your books into class. And you can bring 5 or 10 note cards with little notes. I don't want to bring all your notes because then people start, making too much noise, flipping over all their papers, looking for some lost idea buried in the 10th page of their note-taking or something. Just get the important stuff on the cards, bring them in. You won't forget anything then. and you're fine. The computer shouldn't get any nerves in that case. Then you can just relax and write something interesting. That's, to me, the best way to do it. Also, it avoids the problem of, am I cheating or am I not cheating? Yeah, cheat all you want. Just don't cheat off your neighbor's stuff. Cheat on your own stuff. So there's no problem then where that goes. I hate being a warden for people's moral issues. Okay, so this Bhagavad Gita that we're looking at now is really a representation of this yoga phenomenon that swept the country 30 or 40 years ago and is still, to a certain extent, in progress, though I think Madonna's Kabbalah movement is overtaking it among the yuppie elite. These things go in waves of fads, if you like. I even hear that Britney Spears is going Kabbalah now. So, it's maybe yoga's on the way out in America. I don't know. So, you'll have to judge that yourself. But I think it's still pretty strong among certain groups and as an exercise, as an attempt to get rid of anxiety, as a way of calming down, as a way of focusing your energies and things like that. So